faithful and discreet slave providing spiritual food at the proper time.
So who is the faithful and discreet slave? Well, it's a small group of anointed brothers who are directly involved in preparing and dispensing spiritual food during Christ's presence. And of course, today we know that as the governing body. When did Jesus appoint the faithful slave over the domestics to feed them? In 1919.
Domestics are fed by the slave. Faithful slave. Well, they too need to be fed spiritually.
Spiritual food.
Fed spiritually.
Spiritual food.
Spiritual food.
Spiritual food.
Will food at the proper time be served?
So we encourage you, brothers and sisters, feast at Jehovah's table.
Mark my words, this is a special treat.
I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, pork, dog, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, pork, dog, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, ram, pork, dog, beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken, turkeys, rat.
Man, Shirley Caesar got bars, yo. But before I start this video, man, I'll let you know this message is brought to you in part by Cucumber Vodka, made from the nastiest stuff on earth. But I'm going to drink it because I brought it, alright? Ooh, that's nasty. Alright, but anyway. Ooh, who makes this, man? This is 50 Cent make this. This is nasty stuff, man. But I'm a fool when I'm drinking it because sometimes you gotta, drink a little bit to get through this this foolishness called the Watchtower, man. What I want to do, I want to direct this video to you witnesses that are watching my videos, and I know you guys are watching them. I know you guys are watching. You giving them away. You giving yourself away because my video can't be up for 30 minutes, and I've already got 2 thumbs down. Every video I get 2 thumbs down. The same 2 people is watching my videos and thumbing it down as soon as they get up. So big ups to you, Joe's Witness, who are watching my videos and dumbing it down. I'm happy that something I'm saying is hitting up into your spirits, man. And eventually, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you on the outside of this foolishness. Because if you listen to me long enough, and anybody else who makes videos about Jehovah's Witnesses, it's going to all click eventually. You can thumb it down. You can rebuke it. You can talk about the person who makes it all you want to. But you know deep down inside that something inside this organization is not right. And that's why you spending your time every day, every week searching for new Jehovah's Witness, anti-Jehovah's Witness videos. All right? So I want to direct this video towards you. Okay, and as you've seen in this video, all those clips I showed before is coming from annual meetings. All those clips was from annual meetings from the year 2014 to 2016, except one. One was from a broadcast, all right? And you can get those clips and the whole video off of the JW broadcast, all right? But as you've seen from those videos, during the annual meeting, what they really want to infuse in witnesses and what they want to really inculcate in you guys is the fact that you guys are privileged. Out of the whole world, out of the 8 billion people on this earth, you guys are the most privileged because you guys are the only one receiving spiritual food from Jesus. You guys are the only ones. So you guys should be privileged and happy. All right? Don't take this stuff for granted. It's crazy, man. Never mind the fact that all they doing is indoctrinating you guys, man. They spreading propaganda. But they want to sit around and say, no, this is spiritual food. Well, scientists and people who study the human body are coming to realize, and they realized this a long time ago. I'm coming to realize it now, all right? Let me not say scientists. I'm coming to realize it. That food, the food you eat, has a major effect on your behavior and your mentality, folks. What you eat and what you continue to consume into your mouth will have an effect on your mental health, your behavior, your outlook, your thinking, your concentration, and even the fact that some people who are depressed, it comes down to what you're eating, man. And the Watchtower knows this. And that's why they continue to say the same thing over and over again. It's nothing new that they're preaching at the Kingdom Hall. All those Watchtower studies, those are regurgitated articles, man. Everything they show in the Watchtower, you can guarantee you can't go 3 years without reading that same subject again. People think, oh, they're running out. No, they're not running out of things to talk about. They just know that if we continue to feed these people, spoon feed these witnesses over and over again, that's all they're going to know. We want to keep these people in a box so much. We're going to say the same thing over and over because we know that if we push this stuff, it's going to put a certain thinking in the congregation. It's going to make them behave a certain way. I don't want to spend too much time on the introduction. I just want to go through that real quick because I'm going to go through 4 different things that witnesses are being spoon-fed by the faithful slave up there in Warwick. All right. Now, coming from the July 15th, 2013 Watchtower study. This is on page 20. It says, who really is the faithful and discreet slave? Now, paragraph 2, I found this very interesting, the way they worded this, all right? I'm not going to read the whole sentence. I want you to pay attention to how they worded this. Very interesting. It's very interesting how they worded it. And the thing about the faithful slave in their writing department, they have a way of wording things, okay? They have a way of doing that. I don't know if they have lawyers writing these things, but they have some talented people writing these articles. They word these things real good. Ooh, that's nasty, man. All right, but anyway. Paragraph 2. The timely spiritual food we receive is proof that Jesus... I'm going to stop it right there. If you want to read the rest of it, go ahead. You just say, I take it out of context. That's why I'm showing you this, man. That's why I'm showing you witnesses right now. So you say I don't take out of context. I'm not taking nothing out of context. I'm just going to stop right there. You see how they worded that? Let me read it again. The timely spiritual food we receive is proof. They're making this stuff more important than what it really is. When you say something is proof of something, you're making it important. You're making it like if this is real, everything else, if this is false, then that's proof that such and such. You guys, man, you guys are some pompous individuals to put that up there, man. Like, and the thing is, witnesses, they think that they're the only one producing Bible literature. Like, I mean, come on, man. I went to Baptist. I've been to Pentecostal. I've been to different religions before I came to the Jehovah's Witnesses. Christian Science. Christian Science have a whole reading room, all right? They produce books. Seventh-day Adventists got a whole bookstore, all right? They got a bookstore that they produce things. In fact, they got monthly catalogs that they send out to you that is study articles. The Mormons have study articles. Scientology produce all kind of Dianetics literature. They produce books and they're still doing it. You guys think that you're the only one producing Bible literature? I mean, come on, man. But anyway, let me not go off on a tantrum this soon, all right? I want to go that when it says that the spiritual food we receive is proof. What I want to do, I'm going to show something at the magazine and something that this faithful slave is feeding you guys. And I want to kind of go into what this really means. What this would say about Jesus, God, and what kind of behavior and thinking this information, if you continue to eat it, what it will produce. Okay? Now, when I was a witness, and any Christian religion would tell you that God is omniscient. What that means is God is all-knowing. He has no limit in knowledge. Everyone except Jehovah's Witnesses. It's crazy how they would limit God and say that he has limits on his knowledge or understanding. Now, witnesses, you might be sitting there saying, no, that's not true. But let me read it for you, all right? Insight on the Scriptures. That's your book, right? Don't your faithful slave produce this book right here? Let me read what this says about your God, Jehovah. Let me read what this says about your God, Jehovah. Page 853 under foreknowledge. Let me read what it says about God's omniscience. Let me read what it says to you. And I'm going to tell you, if you read this and if you continue to be spoon-fed this information, what this is going to produce in you. Okay? Selective exercise of foreknowledge. That's the subheading. Okay? It says selective foreknowledge means that God could choose not to foreknow indiscriminately all the future acts of his creatures. What they're saying is that while God has the ability to know the future, he chooses not to know.
It's ignorance. It really is.
He chooses not to know. So in a Jehovah's Witness mind, God is not all-knowing. He's not omniscient. Okay? That means that God has selective knowledge. That means God is willfully ignorant. That's not selective knowledge, man. No. What that is
allegedly, that's ignorant.
how you gonna limit your God like that? That means that Joe Witness, you guys know and you guys believe that God has selective knowledge. That means that he does not choose to know everything. That means that he can know, but sometimes he doesn't. How the heck? I mean, the Almighty God has limited knowledge that he chooses to know? Who does that? Who does that? Seriously. If I know there's a dog outside, if I have knowledge that there's a dog outside, who gonna sit there and say, well, I choose not to know there's a dog outside? What? let me drink some more of this nasty. What the hell? Hold on. God choose not to know. You can't make this stuff up, man. But guess what? If I'm constantly being spoon-fed this, right? If I'm constantly being spoon-fed this fact that my God chooses to know what he wants to know and chooses not to know, then what you expect of his worshipers, folks? And isn't it true, Joe Witness can choose not to know something that's negative about the congregation? I mean, in this day and age, we have Google. You got to purposely be dumb not to know anything. The information is right at your fingertips, man. You got a phone. You got all the knowledge on earth. So if you don't know something, that's because you willfully stand stupid. So if God gonna willfully say stupid, why his worshipers can't willingly say stupid? And that's what they do. That's what the food that the slave feeds you guys. I can tell you that the Watchtower joined the UN. I can tell you that witnesses horrible pedophiles. I can tell you all this stuff. I can tell you what website to look it up, where to go look it up. But guess what? You, like Jehovah, is going to be willfully ignorant and not look it up. You're going to choose not to know. Dumb. And that's what, my friends, that's just a sample of what you're going to be fed at the Kingdom Hall. And that's how it's going to affect your behavior. All right. Something else they produce. This is a current teaching, folks. Okay? This book came out in 2014. Now, one thing that Jehovah's Witnesses like to do, is they like to look at the news, and when something extravagant happens, they like to say, see, that means the world's coming to an end. They like to do that. One thing they like to hop on is when Jesus said in Matthew, what was this? Matthew 24, 32 to 34, it says, truly I say to you, that this generation will by no means pass away until all these things happen. But for Matthew 24, 32, the witnesses would use this scripture and say, see, all these things happening in Matthew, we're just a generation away from the end of the world happening. Meaning that when you see all these things, we only have a generation before the world ends, before Jesus comes back. And so, throughout the century, they continue to redefine what a generation is. All cults do is redefine words. Okay? That's all they do. And the latest redefinition don't even make no sense, man. They came up with this chart as to why generation can now be turned into contemporary. That's all they did. So what they're saying now is, since at first the generation was people who was born in 1914, this is what they said at first. When Jesus said this generation he was talking about was people born in 1914. That generation, when stuff started happening in 1914, that generation that was living would not pass away before the end came. But guess what? That generation is dead. So they had to come up with something new in this book and say that basically, this generation, Jesus, when he said generation, he meant contemporaries of that generation. How dumb is that, man? How dumb can you be to believe this stuff, man? How you sit there and let somebody hold your mouth open and feed you this dumb stuff? How you gonna say hold your mouth open and feed you this dumb stuff, man? You let somebody hold your mouth and feed you this dumb stuff. How you gonna take generation and change it to contemporary? When Jesus was talking to his disciples, you think we said this generation, the first thing he said, oh, okay, yeah, so contemporaries of that. No, his disciple was smart enough to understand when Jesus said this generation, that's what he meant, this generation. Like, come on, man, why you guys got to go overboard and redefine stuff, man? No, when Jesus said this generation, he was talking about the generation that was living at that time. He was saying this generation will not pass. When I say this generation or this house, I'm not talking about no house 2,000 years later. I'm talking about this house right here. When I say this, you're talking about what's right in front of me. When Jesus said this generation, he was talking about that generation right there. That generation that's living at this time. If you think about it, if you believe in prophecy, the generation did not pass away because Jerusalem was destroyed within that generation. If Jesus said that prophecy in the year 33, then that generation is still alive in the year 70 when Jerusalem was destroyed. He was talking about that generation, man. Why is the Watchtower trying to extend that generation to this generation? You can't do that. And then you're going to change the word this generation to this contemporaries of this generation. This is what you guys are being fed, man. Why are you guys sitting there and let somebody feed you this dumb stuff? But, again, what you eat has an influence on how you think and how you behave. Okay? What is this teaching? If I'm continuing to be fed this, what would this inculcate in me? How would this affect my behavior? How does this affect the witness's behavior? It produces in them cognitive dissonance, meaning that I can sit there and act like I'm agreeing with you, but meanwhile, my mind is thinking of a rebuttal to what you're saying. I mean, I sit there and say, yes, true, and then after you start talking, I'm trying to prove everything you're saying was false. That's cognitive dissonance. When you redefine words and redefine terms, all you're doing is sitting there giving a person common ground to disagree with you. You understand what I'm saying? So let me give you an example of cognitive dissonance and redefine the term that the witnesses will do. Okay, so Jesus is the mediator. Okay, this is what all Christians believe. Now here's the cognitive dissonance and the redefining of terms that Jehovah's Witnesses will do. Okay, so we got to go through Jesus to get to God. True, that's what the witness will tell you. But what they won't tell you until you get through talking is that we got to go through a faithful slave to get to Jesus, to get to God. That's what they won't tell you. And this is where the cognitive dissonance comes from. The fact that they'll leave stuff out, they're being trained to sit there and agree with you until you get through talking and rebuttal everything you just said by leaving things out and redefining terms. That's what the Watchtower feeds these folks. That's what they're being trained to do. And so, yes, oh, man, yep, the Watchtower's cooking up something. The Watchtower's cooking up something. I can smell it. I can't put my finger. I know I smelled it before. I just can't put my finger on what it is. They cooking up something. I can smell it. Sheriff Hoyt, what do you think that smell is? You smelled that before. What that smell like?
I smell bullshit.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what I was smelling. They cooking some unadulterated, unseasoned
bullshit.
Oh, the great spiritual food you guys are being fed. What is it? October 1st, 2011, Watchtower, page 26. When was Jerusalem destroyed? Now, I know this has been talked about many times in YouTube history. Now, any scholar would tell you Jerusalem was destroyed in 586. Any scholar would tell you that. Or they might, be a little liberal and say 587. Okay? Jerusalem was destroyed in 586 by Nebuchadnezzar. Jehovah's Witness would tell you Jerusalem was destroyed in 607 BCE. Any student of history will look at that and say, where do you get that from? Because first of all, the Battle of Carchemish, as far as I remember, was not fought until the year 605 CE. So you guys are 2 years too early. The Battle of Carchemish was not fought until 605 CE. And then there was a wave of Jews that got took to Babylon in the year 597. But I mean, still in all, there were still Jews in Babylon after 597. So, what scholars y'all got up there in wherever y'all was at that can sit there and say that the archaeologists and historians are wrong? What scholars y'all got that say that? I don't understand that. Let me read what they say about the Battle of Carchemish in the Insight book. If you turn to the Battle of Carchemish and Insight book, page 418 under Carchemish, check this out. Because now any historian, any scholar in history, and they go to the through artifacts and they go through different things. Even this book right here will tell you. Let me see. This book right here will tell you the evidence they give. They tell you the evidence they give for that given that date. But the Battle of Carchemish was fought in the year 605. Let me read what this book says about the Battle of Carchemish. This is the food you guys are getting. Supposedly Jesus, through an angel, is giving a faithful slave. Does it mean Jesus didn't know what year this was? How Jesus ain't gonna know what year the Battle of Carchemish had if he was up in heaven? If he's the I am, or if he was up there, if he said I am that I am, but he was there before Abraham, how you don't know what year the Battle of Carchemish? How he gave y'all the wrong date? Okay, anyway, 418 Carchemish. It said in 625? Are you serious? In 625, a decisive battle was fought at Carchemish. Where? What? In 625, a decisive battle was fought at... Man, how y'all adding 20 years, man? How y'all adding 20 years? Dang, yo. In 625, a decisive battle was fought at Carchemish between Egyptian and Babylonian armies. Nebuchadnezzar led the Babylonians to smashing victory. In 625, Nebuchadnezzar was 9 years old, man. Oh! Nebuchadnezzar was 9 years old. He led a whole army to the war. A 9-year-old boy. Oh man, this dude deserved an award. 9-year-old boy led the army to a war and he won it. At 625, seriously? Y'all added 20 years? So if y'all added 20 years to the battle, why y'all don't add 20 years? Because you talked about when Cyrus calculated Babylon in 539. Now historians will agree with you, okay? But why y'all don't add 20 years to that date? Why didn't y'all put in y'all thing that Cyrus conquered Babylon in 559? Why does that date agree with historians, but not the year 586? Why didn't that date agree with them? Now the argument they use, and this is one thing when I was in, that said, well, yeah, okay, I see where they get it, because the Jews got back to Babylon. The Jews got from Babylon to where they go back to? Jerusalem. Look at that. Y'all, sometimes talking about dumb stuff make you dumb. All right, but anyway, the Jews got back to Jerusalem in the year 537. So 70 years from that would be 607. Okay, and they based that on the fact that Daniel prophesied a 70-year captivity and 70 years that the Babylonian Empire would last. 70 years. It was 2 sets of 70 years. Okay. Now, if you want to go according to Bible prophecy, let me give you a 70-year time frame, right? From the year 586, when Jerusalem was destroyed and the temple was destroyed, right? The temple was rebuilt in 516. There you go. Bam! That's 70 years right there, my friend. 70 years. 586 to 516. The temple was destroyed for a whole 70 years. There you go. Bam! Not 607. How in the heck? Man, how do you get this date, man? How do you guys... This is proof. As they said before, when they said, the fact that we had a spiritual food is proof. This is proof that Jesus didn't know what he's talking about. This is proof that you talking to a dumb Jesus. How Jesus sitting there that time couldn't he give y'all the right date? How did Jesus give y'all change dates and change it? How did Jesus give y'all information one year and next year he said, oh, you know what? I was wrong that year. That's proof that y'all worshiping a dumb, ignorant Jesus, man. Y'all not worshiping, you know what I'm saying? Because Jehovah's don't worship Jesus. But that's giving proof that y'all get information from a dumb angel. This angel didn't even know what's going on. What was he doing? Sitting on the toilet with stuff? He forgot. He lost his calendar. He didn't know when the Jerusalem was destroyed. Like, come on, man. Then they sit there and say, oh, well, we don't have a zero, so we add a year. If you don't have a zero, you don't add a year. If you don't have a zero, you don't add nothing. You don't add nothing to zero. And for Jehovah's Witnesses, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. That's an inside joke, right? We don't have a zero, so we got to add a year. All right. As I said, I wanted to be a little brief. I went a little over. One more thing, and I'm gone. One more thing, because again, they cooking again. They cooking and I smell it. Do you smell it? I smell it, smell it, smell it. Okay, this book right here, this was cooked in the year 2006. Those folks in, where was they at before they went to war with? Somewhere in New York. They was in New York somewhere. I can't know. But they was in New York. And they produced this book. They cooked this spiritual food up for all witnesses. Now, I'll have you know, it's not the first time they cooked this up. This is actually the fourth time they didn't cook this dish up for the witnesses. And guess what? They changed the ingredients. They took some out and added something in. Because I remember they gave us a whole card. They gave us a whole card of edits that you need to put in. You had witnesses sitting there going through their old book, because it was hardcover back in the day, and the old Revelation book. They had witnesses up there whiting out different phrases and stuff and writing in the thing. They had witnesses adding on in the book. Now, if you're just a slave, okay, if the faithful and discreet slave or the governing body is just a slave, how are you taking liberties and adding ingredients to the food Jesus said to give? If I'm a slave at McDonald's, I'm working at McDonald's, I can't add no ingredients to the Big Mac, no matter how good I think it should be, or no matter the new light I've seen that, oh, you know what? This sauce right here, that was so 1980s. We need a new sauce. I can't sit there and take liberty because the corporation will sit there and fire me. So if Jesus is the corporation, Jesus is the master of the Jehovah's Witness. How you sitting there changing ingredients to the food he gave? When did he say change the ingredients? I think Revelation said don't take nothing out or add nothing in. But this faithful slave is taking stuff out and adding stuff in. They didn't edit this book 4 times. How you editing Jesus' words if he gave it to you? When did Jesus say change those words? I never heard Jesus say change no words. But anyway, this is one thing that they taught. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is just so dumb, man. This is just so dumb. Okay. Revelation. The Revelation book. Okay. Revelation book chapter. Oh, man. This is. Joe, when did I pray for you guys, man? Just come on. Wake up, man. Just disconnect from the governing body for a minute, man. Just disconnect from them. Because when you eating this stuff, your stomach should be bubbling, man. You eating spoiled food, man. The only time I gotta change food or change stuff because the food is spoiled. I don't have to change food that's good. I don't cook food. I don't make this big dish and sit there and say, oh, you know what? No. Don't eat it. That's old food. That's old light. Old food is spoiled food. You guys eating spoiled food, man. The Bible never expires, man. The Bible stays the same. It says God's word will last forever. How the heck you keep saying, oh, we got to change the word? You can't do that, man. But anyway, Revelation book chapter 21. It's talking about the angels' trumpets. Okay? And I know this has been talked about many times before, but I just want to put my spin on this because I never heard nobody read the scripture or the context. And the thing about this book is they break it down by verses. Do you understand that when John wrote the scroll of Revelation, he didn't have chapters and verses? It was a whole scroll, it's a whole vision that broke down the different visions. So to try to interpret Revelation, you can't sit there and interpret by verses, man. Verses is a new invention, man. You can't break it down by verses. This is what this book does. That's why they got to keep on going back and forth, and keep editing because they're trying to interpret the verses. You got to interpret the whole vision, man. But anyway, what they did is they talked about the 7 angels with the 7 trumpets. Y'all remember that right there, right? Again, this is what you're being fed. This is what you guys are being fed, all right? Tell me if this makes sense to you. Now, in paragraph 16, it says, "In the first one blew his trumpet." Now, many Bible scholars, now, for the Jehovah's Witnesses who don't know, there's 4 different schools of thought on the book of Revelation. Okay? There's 4 different schools of thoughts. Okay? They don't all agree. A lot of them has to do with the fact that Revelation is a book of history. That's one school of thought. One of them has to do with Revelation being a symbol of the church throughout history. Another one is Revelation is a book of future prophecy. And another one is Revelation is a symbol of how we should conduct ourselves, a symbol of the clash between good and evil. These are different theology, different interpretations of the book of Revelation. Okay? And the thing is, when it comes to these people, they don't shun you because you say, "Oh, I don't agree. I don't agree with the way this interpreter interprets Revelation." Now, think about the governing body. They will actually shun you and shut you down if you say that I don't agree with your interpretation of it. But guess what? The governing body don't even agree with the governing body of the 1970s. So they should shun themselves because you guys don't agree with your own former governing body. But anyway, the first angel blew his trumpet. Okay? Now, how did this book interpret this being fulfilled? Check this out. Check this mess out. At Cedar Point, Ohio, on September 10, 1922, we adopted a resolution. That was the first angel blowing his trumpet. At the assembly, or the convention, 1920, the trumpets were not trumpets. They were microphones at conventions.
And that's totally ignorant.
That's what John looked at. Like, the whole grand climax of the book of Revelation was that the angels John seen were actually elders at conventions in Cedar Point, Ohio. And the trumpet was not trumpets. No. Because as I recall in Revelation, the trumpets blew, stuff came down to the earth and stuff was destroyed. But guess what? No. When these angels blew their trumpets, it was a message at a convention. Joey, you really believe this mess? Y'all believe this? And then the second angel blew his trumpet. When was this fulfilled? Check this out. Check when this was fulfilled. Anybody who's not a witness, check when they say this was fulfilled. In 1923, August 28, in Los Angeles, California, at a talk by J.F. Rutherford. J.F. Rutherford was one of the angels that John seen in the book of Revelation. He seen John F. Rutherford giving a talk, and that was the trumpet.
And that's totally ignorant.
Well, I'll be gosh darn. How the heck? How did John see 7 angels, but 2 of them was Joseph Rutherford? Because the first angel was Joseph Rutherford giving that talk, right? The first angel was Joseph Rutherford giving a talk. The second angel was Joseph Rutherford giving a talk. There were 7 angels, but all of them Joseph Rutherford at different times and dates. And the trumpets with microphones. Shoot me, somebody, shoot me! The third angel blew his trumpet in paragraph 28. And when was this? In Columbus, Ohio, 1924. No doubt the direction of the angel that sounded the third trumpet, a forceful revolution was adopted. So again, those angels were Joseph Rutherford.
And that's totally ignorant.
At different conventions. John seen 7 angels, but what he meant to tell you is that, oh, actually those were Joseph Rutherford speaking through a microphone.
And that's totally ignorant.
Meanwhile, Revelation chapter, I'm going to read out this silver sword right here. This is what John said. When he opened the 7th seal, there was silence in heaven for about an hour and a half. And I saw the 7 angels who stood before God. So John himself said that these 7 angels were in heaven. This fool said the angel was on earth, speaking through a microphone, not a trumpet.
And that's totally ignorant.
And so there you go, Joe Winners. But I just want you to really think deeply, man. Just think. What this produced. And think about what it produced when it says that most of the scholars say that Jerusalem was destroyed in 1986 or 1987, and Jehovah's Witnesses come out and say no, it was destroyed in 607. What does that produce? What kind of thinking that produce? That produces a closed-mindedness among Jehovah's Witnesses. That a scholar, a person with a doctorate, a person with a college education, a university education, this person is hands-on archaeology. This person come and talk to a Jehovah's Witness, tell them, I've studied this. I'm over there digging in the trenches. I've touched the artifacts. I touched the fossils. I touched different things. He come and prove it to you. But a Jehovah's Witness sit there and say, nope. According to this, page 30, you are absolutely wrong. If it's not written in this book right here, a scholar, Jesus Christ himself could not come and tell me this is wrong because it's not written in the Watchtower. That's what this food produces. And that's why if I go talk to a witness, that's why if I come with convincing evidence, if it disagrees with this, they've been conditioned to say that if it disagrees with this, even if you are a scholar, an historian, if a person has a degree, any kind of education, any kind of credibility behind him, he gonna believe these 7 goofballs, these 7 dumbos in New York over somebody who can sit there and tell you why, and give you facts, give you hard copies, give you scrolls, give you ancient artifacts to prove that what we're saying is right. They wouldn't believe it. They've been conditioned that way. This is the food they are being fed. And so, Jehovah's Witness, you want to sit there and stay a Jehovah's Witness? Go ahead, man. I know how it is. I know how scary it is to even entertain the thought that I could be wrong. But I just want you to think, though. Think about what I've said. Think about the food it produced. Think about what it's really telling you. Think about these things, man. Because in life, if you continue to eat rotten food, you continue to eat bad food, you continue to eat this food that's given by these 7 doofuses in Warwick, these 7 cowards that's hiding behind a compound that can't even come out and answer questions, who's hiding behind lawyers and everything else. If you want to continue to believe them, you want to know what's going to be produced in your life, continue to eat that spiritual food, and your life ain't going to produce nothing but spiritual diarrhea. Thank you for watching, folks, man. I'm out.